Adam Chris for My MMA News with Jess Feliciano, who will be taking on Jonna Wood at Fight to Win this Saturday at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Jess, I appreciate your time.
Thanks for coming.
It's my pleasure. So we're here in Newark, Delaware at Elite Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here in Newark, Delaware Main Street. So tell us a little bit about Jonna Wood. Tell us a little bit about your competition coming up, your opponent. What do you know about her? If I'm not mistaken, you're undefeated?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
So you want to keep that streak going?
I don't want to, I will.
But you will. But tell us a little bit about your opponent, Jonna.
Okay, so I fought her at Anaga 2 years ago. She beat me on points. It was like bullshit points, like a reversal, and because I had swept her and she came up, and it was something weird where she got like 6 points, and I didn't notice until the end of like maybe 30 seconds left. So I stood up and like collar dragged her. This was in the heat. I collar dragged her like 1,000 times trying to get like some kind of points within the last 30 seconds, but I couldn't get them. I got 2 points, so it was like 6-4 is what she beat me on. And then in Nogi, that same tournament, I heel hooked her. And she was like really like cocky, like, you know, head in my face. And I noticed recently that she just does that in tournaments. It's probably just like a way to make her more confident. But it kind of like, to me, it just makes me more calm. Like, all right.
Really?
Yeah, because like when somebody's like always trying to be in your face, like I feel like the good prevail, you know, like you gotta just stay cool. If you act on it or like let them get to you, then you're not really playing your game, you're playing their game.
Now behind the scenes, does it irritate you at all?
It does. It pisses me off because it's like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to be forehead to forehead. Like, you know, this is jiu-jitsu. She does MMA.
Especially, a sport that's so respectful.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know, you can ask all my like opponents. I become friends with them afterwards. And we're friends on social media and stuff, but never on some like, oh, let's train. You know, all my other opponents, I'm like, I want to train with them because if they beat me, I want to know how they beat me. It's different with girls. Guys, they have a little bit more pride, and they'll be like, no, I want to get him the next tournament. Right. But since there's not so many girls, it's like we have to train together so that I can get better to go to Worlds or like, you know, EBI or something where it's like the local tournaments mean nothing to me. I will train with you right after. I'll compete against you the next day again. You know, like, it means nothing to me. I'm more like worried about bigger tournaments.
Worried long term.
Yeah, for sure. And with girls, like I said, there's just not many of us who compete. I never get like matches at local tournaments anymore. I have to do all the IBJJFs to get any kind of good matches in. But so I know a little bit about her. She's an MMA girl, and I guess she's like doing more leg lock stuff, but that's kind of my game, so I'm not really worried about it. The only thing I like, not that I'm worried, but I'm just like, oh, I gotta deal with is her like snap downs and like, you know, getting in my face and pushing me around. That's stuff that I was just saying, getting in your face. Yeah. That's all I'm worried about. It's like, oh, I gotta deal with this for 6 minutes.
Now, is it one of those things that maybe you think about taking an MMA fight in the future so you can punch her in the face?
I do want to do. I want to get into like combat, except I don't know if I could take a hit. I don't know. I've never tried, so it's different when you have like a specific game like leg locks. Yeah. If somebody like slaps you in the face, what are you gonna do? I've never been slapped during jiu-jitsu, so I don't know. But I feel like I have the drive for it. I'm really a hard ass when I train. Like I'm really rough. Like people don't like rolling with me because I am too rough. So maybe.
So what got you into this whole jiu-jitsu thing? A lot of people, I mean, everybody has their story. I mean, some people their passion was getting into MMA at first. Some people's Muay Thai. They all have their stories and their drive of what got them into their sport. What was your specific goal in getting into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
So I had just gotten divorced and I was like super depressed, and my friend was like, hey, you know, why don't you try jiu-jitsu? I was partying, drinking, smoking, doing all that, and I didn't do anything with my life, just work and then party. And so she would just like nag me, you need to try jiu-jitsu, so I'm like, all right, I'll try it once. I went for a no-gi wrestling class. It wasn't even jiu-jitsu, and I loved it. It was like nothing I'm not athletic at all. I've never done any like sports. I it was bad. I was like 160, and now I'm fighting at 130. So like jiu-jitsu, it did everything for me. It wasn't just like to stay active or stop drinking. Like my first year, I was still going out and going to jiu-jitsu hungover and hating it. I would hate, like, I just hated myself. I'm like, why did I do that?
That's so funny. I had many of those days with kickboxing.
Yeah, because you have your friends who don't train, and then you have friends, and you're trying to, like, compromise, and like, all right, I'll go out with you one day, and knowing, like, you're going to hate yourself the next day.
Yeah.
So, like, little by little, like, I just stopped having friends who don't train. I stopped, like, it's like I didn't have anything in common with them because I didn't want to drink, and I wanted to be at jiu-jitsu. So, yeah, it was that one class, like, they kicked my ass. There was nothing I could do. It was just like, wow, this is what I want to do. It's like, I don't have to be athletic. I just need to use technique, and then I'm sweating balls for 5 minutes versus going on a treadmill for like 30.
Right.
It was great. And so yeah, I started at Zombie BJJ. I'm still friends with them. Hi, Zombie. And they had me up until blue belt, until Padilla opened up a gym in Allentown, and I switched over to him because I knew right away, like, I wanted a Junogi. Zombie's more of a gi gym, and I always, like, took off my gi, wanted a Junogi. They only had, like, one no-gi class a week, and I had, like, 3 other friends who did no-gi too, and so I watched Padilla, like, finishers, the first finishers, one before it was popular. And I was like, dude, this guy's an EBI vet. I want to do it. I want to get there. And when I signed up with him, I told him, I was like, listen, you're going to get me to EBI. And he's like, well, then you better work your ass off. And I was like, all right, but I'm telling you right now, you better get me into EBI. And then, like, 2 years later, I was in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Impressive.
I know. I say it's all Padilla, but Zach Mizlani from 10th Planet Bethlehem.
Zach, our man at Miami News, Zach's our boy.
Yo, if you don't have Zach in your corner, then you don't have nobody. He pulled strings too. Like, so Padilla was the one who was like on Eddie, and Zach was like, here's some videos, Eddie, look at her, she's a beast. And he was like, yo, have her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I didn't know. I went into a class, it was really messed up. I went into one of the classes, like normal, and I was ready to tell Padilla that I had to move here. I was like, damn, I don't know when to tell him. All right, I'm gonna tell him today, cause like I'm like one of his, like, he won't ever admit it that I'm his favorite student, but I was one of his favorite students. He'll treat me like dog shit, but I know that's because
self-titled favorite student.
I'm the favorite student, and he won't admit it, but I know I am. But so I'm like ready to tell him, almost crying, like, damn, I gotta move because I got with Eric and I got a job over here that was better than Allentown. And so I'm like, hey, I gotta talk to you. And he was like, before you talk to me, look at this message. And I'm like looking, and it's Eddie Bravo saying, you know, have her send me an email. She's in for EBI. And I was like, what? And I just started like crying. I'm like, I was gonna tell you that I have to leave in a few months.
Oh no.
It was bad. And he just like took it like a champ. He's like, you're still a part of my team. I'm still gonna help you out as much as I can. Yeah. So it wasn't until after EBI that I moved anyway, but still, like, I wanted to tell him, and then he just showed me that I was in EBI. It was like so funny. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Finish up.
No, I'm good.
All right, so moving on from Mr. Padilla here, let's talk about. Who doesn't?
I know. No, a lot of people don't because he's so cocky, but it's like if you see through his cockiness, he's cool.
Yeah. So talking about your competition here coming up, the 2300, you know, a lot of history in that venue. It's going to be a packed house, so there's going to be a lot of eyes on you. And on top of that, it's going to be featured on Flow Grappling, so you're going to have a lot of eyes on you. Now, I see you cringing a little bit, but let's be honest. Does that bring any added pressure? Does it, you know, make you excited? Does it not even play into your thoughts?
So my first fight to win, I was supposed to just fight one no-gi match. 2 days before the match, Seth hits me up, the guy who runs it, and was like, hey, somebody dropped out. Can you do a 145 gi match on top of your no-gi match? And I was like, I'm like 130. I was like, you know what? I didn't want to say no to Seth because it was my first fight to win. I was
Right.
like, if I say no, I'm not gonna be cool with him. You
Yeah.
know, like he's not gonna like me. So I was like, fuck it. I asked Padilla, and actually I didn't even ask him. I asked the guy here, Jeff Mitchell, because he's more of a gi guy to help me prepare for this. And he said, just go for it. And so when Padilla found out, he's like, what are you doing? You're not even doing you're not even doing gi. And I was like, fuck it, I don't care. So I asked for the gi match to be first and then the no gi match after. And it was like, literally, I went on once, somebody went on, and then I went on again. It was like almost back to back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I ended up finishing both matches with a leg lock. And just being out there that first time, like not caring, not like it was one of those matches I didn't prepare for. I had like 2 days, and it was gi, it was up weight. It was like, all right, if I lose, I lose, but I'm out here doing it. And I won, so my original match, I was like, all right, I'm game. Like these lights don't bother me. The people I've been on here, so to me, it's not a big deal. The big deal part is just like having to grind. Like Jonna's such a scrappy competitor.
Yeah.
Like these other girls, like they're more, I guess, nicer. They're more technical. Jonna is just a bulldog, and I'm not looking forward to it. But I know my game, and I'm confident in it.
So if you had to make your bold prediction, how do you think you're going to get the W that night? How do you think your hand's going to get raised? How do you think you take out Jonna Wood?
I have to make sure she's done like doing her little slapping stuff. Like she neckties really hard, and if I could get under her, like under her legs, then maybe I can get the win. Either way, like I've been doing so much. Like from the time we competed to now, that was 2 years ago. Like I've been working back stuff. I've been working so many things that like I don't just have one game. She's mostly like a guillotine kind of, you know, MMA people, snap down, takedowns, guillotine, whatever. That's her thing. I don't feel like she has progressed as much as I have, so I'm gonna get the win regardless. It's just gonna be hell. Like we know each other enough. Like we follow each other enough to know that it's gonna be a scrap. And I want it to be. I want it to be a good match. You see so many fight to wins, and like they're so boring. And I never like. Even at finishers, I never want it to be boring. I want to like go out like hard or die trying. You know, like I'm either getting submitted. I don't want any overtime. If I get overtime, I'm fucking frustrated and like why are you running away from me? So it's definitely not going to go to the judge's decision. One of us will finish each other. Right. It's gonna be me.
It's gonna be.
It's gonna be me. I'm more of submission based. She's not. So it'll be me.
All right, well, best of luck.
Thank you
Jess,
so much.
I appreciate your time.
Thanks for coming.
Check her out, Fight to Win this weekend, this Saturday, and check her out, mymmanews.com.
Thank you.